Welcome, welcome, welcome to Healthy Life. I am, they call me Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines, and your instructor tonight for Healthy Life. So I think this is like the third time that I've taught this series of courses, a series of modules for Healthy Life. And I'm very thankful to be here. Thank you to each of you for coming and tuning in. This is some valuable information. This can give you so much saving power, so much energy, right? It can help you to age slower. It can help you to age backwards, right? There's so many benefits to living a holistic lifestyle. The challenges within that we face, many days they're so difficult to deal with, but living a holistic lifestyle will help us to achieve this, right? So let's go ahead and pull up our module, Healthy Life, right? So let's go ahead and dive right into our affirmation. I am. I am the creator of my life. I am healed. I am thankful for my body's biological processes working in full alignment with my spirit and mind. I love the challenges of life that help keep my holy trinity in consistent balance. My superconscious mind is relaxed. My subconscious mind is relaxed. My conscious mind is relaxed. My spirit is relaxed. My mind is relaxed. My body is relaxed. My brain is relaxed. My nervous system is relaxed. My endocrine system is relaxed. My circulation system is relaxed. My skeletal system is relaxed. My immune system is relaxed. The healing intelligence of my spirit, mind, and body is made manifest in every atom of my being. I activate the knowledge of the ancients. Open my Akashic record for all of the multiverse to see in a blinding ray of love and compassion. I activate my power within. I activate my awareness of the crystalline grid's infinite capacity and capabilities. I activate and accept the knowledge accessed. I experience and reflect. I manifest wisdom of the all that I am. One of the things that I want everybody to know who's going to be with us for the class, the law of suggestion plays a major piece in being able to heal from anything holistically. We've got to speak power to ourselves. We've got to speak power to our mind, body, and spirit. We've got to speak power to that higher and that lower self. This is a very important piece. And what we often do when we're successful is we speak about these achievements as if they've already been achieved, right? So it says right there, my spirit is relaxed. Well, for some people, maybe their spirit's not relaxed right now. Maybe their brain is not relaxed right now, right? But we're speaking as if it's already done. And this is a very important piece. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward to our next piece in the class, which is our sponsor message. So I'm going to take my camera off the screen just for a second so we can shout out the sponsor, Root Tribes. Really appreciate Root Tribes for sponsoring the class, Healthy Life. So, Root Tribes, we got some herbal combinations there. We've got some detoxification kits. We also have options for those who need a helping hand with the healing process. And I personally take those individuals to the Root Tribes Whole Health Healing Compound, and I walk them down the path. So for some, we may go out there for 3 days and we fast and we drink water, we chop wood, we make fires, we talk, we focus on healing perspective on regressed trauma, and we do different things like that, right? So there's multiple different options that a person could look into if they decide to go with Root Tribes, which I recommend. I use Root Tribes herbs just about every day. Most days I'm using Full Body Rebuild, or I'm using Brain Boost, or I'm using Men's Daily Dose, right? And they're very powerful. lots of necessary minerals going into the system, with a minimization of anything chemical or toxic. And in actuality, root tribes has no toxic materials that are used to help any person to heal. So let's go back to our lesson. All right, let's go ahead and get into that. Right, because let's talk a little bit about how to heal from anything. What do we got to do to heal from anything? So I would say our starting point, if we want to heal from anything holistically, we need to start with unlearning nearly everything that we've ever learned. We need to start with learning the truth, right? But that forces us to break the old foundation. The old foundation may be filled with erroneous information that's not helping us move forward, right? So we got to break that down, right? One of the better ways to break that down is to spend a lot of time in nature, right? Getting away from the 90-degree angles, the squares and the rectangles of our lives, and getting out in nature and seeing the golden ratio in abundance, right? We built ourselves in our mother's womb utilizing the golden ratio. Well, if we surround ourselves with it, if we ingest it consistently, right, through the eyes, through the ears, through the secretions of the skin, through the sixth sense, if we are consistently ingesting the golden ratio, now what we've done is we put ourselves in a healing environment. This is the type of environment that the human body finds equilibrium or finds balance in the best, right? So how do we do that? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we're going to go deep on that, right? So unlearn everything, or at least unlearn the erroneous knowledge that has been put on the people. That one size fits all approach from the national narrative, that's not going to serve too much in the holistic journey, right? So we got to let that go, and we got to move towards what does work. So there are people in the last 100 years who have put out the truth concerning health. Noble Drew Ali is one of them. Elijah Muhammad is another. I would even go as far to say Malcolm X was another. Dr. Sebi, he is the most recent who dedicated a large portion of his life to giving us the keys and the tools. One of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is the intracellular chelation, right? Well, the intracellular chelation, I'm not sure if Dr. Sebi came up with the term, but I would say that he popularized it. And what that is cleansing every cell and nourishing every cell simultaneously. This is a very important piece, right? But before we go down there, right, we don't want to go too far ahead. One of the other ways to heal from disease holistically is we've got to change perspective on self. Many people who are suffering from disease have a poor belief of self, a poor knowing of self, right? So we have to raise that belief of self to a higher vibration of authenticity, of love, compassion, empathy, right? Peace and harmony. Well, how do we do that? We have to take that person has to go down a pathway where they change perspective on regress trauma. This is a highly, highly significant piece because, see, that perspective on regress trauma for most people is tied to other behaviors, different foods that they like to eat, different activities that they like to do, different things that they like, right? Well, what is that? That's instant gratification of the emotions. That's a requirement to help that person become back in balance. That's a perspective on regress trauma. So a lot of individuals, you may see them be triggered for something, right? It's a number of different things that may trigger them, right? But whatever they are being triggered about is some type of trauma of the past, and they have identified themselves within that trauma. Well, that right there can create so many different destructive behaviors. So we have to deal with that. Now, the best way to deal with that is in a state of fasting. See, the beauty of sacrifice His sacrifice opens the doors to all my father's many mansions. All them rooms up in the houses, sacrifice starts opening those doors when we let things go that aren't serving. Take away the useless parts. And then what you got left, right? Well, what you got left is wealth and abundance. That's as a result of letting go of certain things that aren't serving. This is a very, very important piece, right? To alter perspective on regress trauma. Now, once we fast, see, I prefer to help a person alter perspective on regress trauma out in the forest. That's one of the best ways to do it because there's no distractions. The only distraction is your tent. Other than that, it's trees and it's dirt and it's animals, birds, sky. You got a real environment to work with. That's going to really, really help a person to be able to face themselves in a quiet moment and overcome, especially during a fast because of the sacrifice of food, the sacrifice of that immediate gratification. That's going to strengthen the spirit. It's going to strengthen the connection of the spirit to the vessel. Usually after a fast, what I notice from my clients is they're able to feel more effectively, right? They're able to literally feel things more effectively, feel their heartbeat more effectively, feel their blood flow. Imagine feeling your blood flow, right? They can feel their blood flowing because of this raise of vibration that translated to the nervous system. That's powerful. This is just from fasting. And there's so many other things that happen during fasting, but I ain't gonna go too much into that because I believe that's our next module. I'm gonna go deep into fasting on our next module. But going back to perspective on regress trauma, this is a super important piece, y'all. Many of us are suffering from trauma reactions. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If we are suffering from trauma reactions, then what that gives us is an awareness that there's some internal work that we need to put in, some shadow work that we need to put in, some getting under control that carnal self, right? This is what happens when we start walking that path, right? Now, how do we change perspective on regress trauma? Let's get right into that. When I take somebody out to the forest and we got the fire burning and we sitting there and we meditating or we're lightly talking or we're just I'm walking around doing something and they sitting by the fire quietly. I've let all of my clients know the best option, the best way to go about this is just to sit in silence and allow your mind to wander, right? But you kind of got like a little bit of a goal that you want to overcome something, right? So you keep that in your mind that you want to overcome and you allow yourself to be a fly on the wall of that regress trauma, right? And then one of the best ways to do it is to think about the very, very, very first time you felt a certain kind of way. Maybe the trigger was connected to somebody stepping on your sneakers, right? And each time somebody steps on your sneakers, you have a certain type of reaction that's a little out of character. All right. Well, when you go to the forest, then you think about that situation that happened and you tell yourself, I desire to experience the very, very first time that this behavior manifests within me, this triggering that happened with me, this trauma that happened. I desire to visit that memory, right? And when you get to that memory and it plays out, you've got to be a fly on the wall, right? Because a fly on the wall has to be dispassionate. That fly on the wall has to be unbiased. This is important right here, okay? That fly has to be unbiased and it has to be dispassionate. Because see, if that fly decides, I'm gonna have a bias, I'm gonna be dispassionate, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Well, they got fly swatters for that. Most flies don't want to get smacked, so they'll just sit up on the wall, they'll be quiet. Well, now you can look at that experience for what it actually is. You can see it with new eyes now. You can see it with brand new eyes now because you took the dispassionate and the unbiased side of your thinking out of the equation. So now you can reshape perspective of what you believe about you. what you believe about self. And this is where healing starts. Sustainable holistic healing. This is where it starts. It starts with sacrifice. It starts with taking the time to go within. See, anytime we want to have healing in our existential reality, we have to become healing first. We can only see and hear what it is we become. This is heavily significant if you choose to walk this holistic health path on your own. You will have massive, massive success if you follow this. Now, let's go ahead and move forward to know thyself. Man, if we want to be authentic, we got to know thyself. If we don't know thyself, there's almost no way that we can be authentic to self. There's almost no way we can truly have courage to thyself. There's almost no way we can have truth within thyself because we don't even know thyself yet. There's almost no way we can properly care for thyself. All of these things are off the table until we know thyself. And one of the best ways to go about knowing thyself is in a state of purity. Letting go of the symbols of the past, letting go of the strongholds that they have on your mind, and having a deep core desire for truth, having a deep core desire for righteousness, having a deep core desire for growth, wisdom, will, and love. And as we have those deep core desires, while we are sacrificing and letting things go that don't serve, the real you starts to unfold. And it feels great at certain points. At other points, there's kind of like growing pains in it. So you got to stay consistent, stay diligent. And in that space, you unfold like the 1,000-petal lotus flower. Increasing trust, courage, consistency, and self-discipline. All of this will help you to activate knowing thyself. And once you know thyself, these four right here will help you to keep moving forward in a consistent fashion to achieve the things that you desire, that you want to do, like stay healthy. And we're not on this a healthy class, healthy life class talking about being healthy. I know I might be using that terminology, but we focus on whole health. Okay. I want to be very clear. Okay. Because we're focused on the whole being, spirit, mind, and body, higher self and lower self, super conscious, subconscious, conscious. We're focused on all the different realms and dimensions, all the different layers. Super, super important. Okay. Now let's go ahead and move forward to some of the work that we could do. I was just talking about fasting. When we fast, we're utilizing the reserve glycogen or glucose. it's escaping me right now, from the liver. Right. So the liver has our emergency food supply. 12 to 18 hours is kicking in. Right. We might call that growth hormone spike. Okay. So we need to understand how that part of the body works. Many people think that the liver is just something for your for filtering alcohol to make sure you don't die from alcohol poisoning. It's much deeper than that. The liver is your emergency food supply. If you haven't been eating for a long time, your liver is where you're going to get that food from, right? And then once it's out, then the body starts pulling from the fat stores, okay, which the brain likes. Now, there's two different types of fasting that I normally talk about. We've got intermittent fasting, which I would liken to 18 hours off, non-eating 18 hours, 6 hours on, right? And so the 6 hours is not necessarily you eating for 6 hours. It's simply a window of time for you to eat one, maybe two meals. I recommend one. It's best for us to eat smaller amounts per day. The human body, the stomach is only supposed to be about the size of your fist. So your meals is not supposed to be anything bigger than this. And I would even go as far to say that you should only have one meal each day that is this size, right? So detoxification. So the fasting helps to break up what's going on. right? It helps the body to realign with itself, right? And like I said, we're going to go deeper in fasting and detoxification in the episode, not episodes, but in the classes to come. Module 2 and module 3, I believe, are fasting and detoxification. However, the detoxification becomes very important because it helps to uh, cleanse out the digestive system, the gastrointestinal system, what the fasting was not able to push out, right? So now we're using herbs to help with that. And the herbs, that we might use, at least for root tribes, we're using Cascara sagrada. We're using Oregon grapefruit. We're using rhubarb root. We're using black walnut hull and a number of other herbs to help the body properly detoxify. Now, there's multiple other herbs that can be utilized to help the body detoxify. But these are the ones that roottribes.com uses, right? And within that detoxification, the 10-day detoxes that Root Tribes has is they're built in the intracellular chelation fashion, right? So they're focused on pulling heavy metals, pulling toxicity out of the blood, expelling it through the urine, through the feces, through the lymphatic system, sweating it out, right? So this is very significant. If we're going to heal effectively, we've got to get rid of the toxicity. We've got to raise the potential of hydrogen balance within the body, right? So we do that with drinking water, but we also do that with getting rid of the toxicity. The detoxification is going to help us to achieve that, right? Always remember that when it comes down to nutrients making it into your bloodstream, that happens in your intestinal tract. Okay. There's these little suction cups, kind of like an octopus's arm, called villi. We have trillions of them inside of our intestines. And these villi are sucking in the nutrients. Well, many people who might be overweight, let's say in this area right here, well, what we know is that a bunch of their villi is blocked because they're not necessarily fat, even though some of them might be fat. Most of them have a swollen intestinal tract. There's food still in there. Many of them, it's food from decades ago. It might be food from 5 months ago for certain people. It might be food from 5 years ago for certain people, but the food is accumulating, right? There's only so much that we can push out of our body after we eat every single day, unless we're drinking like a gallon of water every day. So we might be holding on to a little bit each time we eat. And then over time, it shows, right? So this is part of why detoxification is so necessary. Plus, fasting and detoxification boost the brain derived neurotrophic factor through the roof. BDNF percentage goes through the roof during a fast. And then during the detoxification period, what we notice is that there's a lot more clarity. Well, why? Because the second brain is being cleansed. The gastrointestinal system, the intestines are literally looked at by science as the second brain because of the amount of neural connection between the brain and the gastrointestinal system, which is, from what many of the scholars say, about 80% of the neural connection. Well, that's very significant. So what we know is that when it comes down to our spiritual communication, we may feel a lot of spiritual messages from the gut. Got a hunch, deja vu. Man, I feel it deep in my gut, man. I don't know, man. That's the second brain working the way that it does. So we got to keep it clean so we can feel as we need to feel, so that we can get out of these spaces of fight or flight. We're still going to have fight or flight, but we don't want it influenced by toxicity, by worms and parasites, right? Fasting and detoxification helps us to rid ourselves of those things. So now we can start making decisions that are well informed based upon how our spirit is leading us. Walk by spirit, not by sight. And then we stay healthy as a result because our spirit always knows what to do. Okay. So this is fasting and detoxification. Let's go into the 6 keys of life, right? Because this is part of the process of fasting and detoxification. But these 6 keys of life come before in the primer, come during, and they are practiced after to maintain whole health. All right. So that is water, sunlight, nutrition, oxygen, movement, sleep. These six right here determine whether you gonna get a disease. These six right here determine if you're gonna be healthy. Nobody can get away from them. Nobody can get away from them. So let's take a quick little intermission, right? We're gonna do 2 minutes and I'll be right. All right, I'm back. Hopefully nobody ran off. We're gonna keep the class going. Let's go ahead and put our information back on the screen for everybody. First of all, thank you to everybody who's here for a healthy life. This is a 16-week journey. This is my third time teaching this series of courses. I used to teach it face to face at a couple different locations. Shout out to my good friend, Dr. Jackie, over there at Beyond Vegan Cell Food in Portsmouth, right? So I used to teach it there. And I also used to teach this series of courses at Military Circle Mall at one of the academies there, right? So I'm very thankful to be here teaching it online. This is a little different than how we've done it before. However, anyone who's making comments, I definitely plan on checking the comments. You got any questions, throw them in the comments. You need some help with anything, toss it in the comments, or even send a private message, whichever works best for you. Root Tribes is available for humanity. Okay, we're looking forward to helping all of our brothers and sisters to have whole health and their families to have whole health. All right. So we were just touching on the six keys of life. All right. Water, sunlight, nutrition, sleep, exercise, goals. So I didn't added a couple. So water. If we're going to be healthy, we've got to put in our body what we're made of. One of the things that we're made of is water, like 70 to 80% of it. So 70 to 80% of this carbon-based cybernetic machine is water, right? So we got to keep replenishing it because last time I checked, water be evaporating. Sometimes you got to put some water in the toilet. Sometimes you might vomit. This is all water coming out of the body. Perspiration, water coming out of the body, right? So we got to keep replacing it. Very important. The higher the alkalinity of water, the better, right? 9 pH balance, 8 pH balance. Oh, that's some pretty good water right there. Now, what's even better water than that's in the bottle? Well, if you can find a running stream, oh, that water is going to have a lot of minerals, and that water is going to be high pH balance. That water is going to be electric water, and it's going to do some special things to you when you drink it. So put yourself in a position where water is the main thing that you drink every day. Try to minimize the coffee. Try to minimize the soda, the juices, and things of this nature. Increase the water, right? There's massive, massive blessings in drinking more water. Your skin's going to look better. It's going to clear up. You're not going to hurt as much. Your bones aren't going to feel as weird because you've made sure that you've added more of what you are. Your bones have a certain amount that's made of water. Your veins have a certain amount that's made of water. Every one of your organs has a certain amount that's made of water. Your brain has a certain amount that's made of water, right? There's so much water in your body, as far as in every part of it, that the more you replenish it, the healthier you become. Okay, now that's just one piece. Keep in mind, there's six pieces in this pie. Technically seven when we talk about the perspective of regress trauma, healing from that. But there's six pieces in this pie. And these six pieces brought together in balance is where the healing rests, no matter what it is you're dealing with. Somebody out there might be like, oh, well, I'm dealing with cancer. I don't know if this is going to work. I guarantee you it will. The most effective way to get rid of cancer is fasting. There isn't another way that's more effective. Listen to the word effective. There might be a more efficient way. There might be a way that requires you not to develop self discipline, but the most effective way to deal with cancer is fasting and living by these six keys of life. Now, increasing sunlight. Sunlight is super important for your sleep, but it's also super important for your circadian rhythm. I highly recommend that as soon as you rise in the AM, go outside. I don't care how cold it is. Just go outside. 10 minutes. It's going to help you align your circadian rhythm with the sun. This is going to change your quality of sleep. That's super important if you want to look young and you want your skin to be glistening and you want to feel healthy and you want to have massive, massive amounts of energy. Well, you've got to charge yourself up properly. You've got to charge up that melatonin. That melatonin gets charged up in the sunlight. And then in the absence of light at night, then it gets utilized by the pineal gland. And the pineal gland sends out other instructions to the mitochondria of all the cells to activate their melatonin as well. This is how you get that real quality sleep, right? Super important. Now, understand that water comes back into play when we're talking about the sun and we're talking about sleep, because the brain uses nearly 30% of the water while you sleep. 30% of the water in your body utilized by the brain. That's a lot of water being used by such a small organ. So what do? We make sure we drink a lot of water. We make sure we spend a lot of time outside getting that sunlight. And now we're able to sleep more effectively. And our body is effectively being repaired during sleep. This is part of the reason why you deep breathe for 8 hours while you sleep. Your body needs all that extra oxygen to do the repair that it's doing. It can't do that level of repair without all of that extra oxygen, right? So all of these are connected. Okay. Now let's go back. And even with the sunlight concerning vitamin D, I know probably everybody's like, oh, well, what about vitamin D? Right. Well, vitamin D is something that we create within our bodies. We need the sunlight to properly synthesize it, to properly create it within us, right? So it's not something you should be taking in a pill. Your body makes vitamin D. Okay. So let's do things the natural way. And as we do that, all of these building blocks start to come together to give us whole health. And we're not able to get whole health without it. Whole health is different than being healthy. Understand that when you're in whole health, all your thinking is boop, like that. Your recall ability, boop, like that. It's like a robot. It's too easy to remember anything. The right keyword just boop, takes the electrical impulses to the right neuron, to the right neural pathway, to have understanding, to be able to communicate effectively, right? So all of this is doors that are open from living in whole health. Imagine having some dreams that you told your mother about when you were a child. Now you're 30, 40, 50 years old, and now you finally lived a certain kind of way, and everything that you told your mother at that time, not only do you remember it, but you're in a position to actually do it now, and it looks easy. Well, why? Because you stepped into the realm of whole health, which could be likened to the word purity on the plane of things made manifest, on the physical plane, right? Whole health. That's what this is. And all of the doors to my father's many mansions swing open. You can go in any of them, but you going in them is based upon deep core desire. So for some people, that deep core desire may be for whole health. For others, it may be for money. For others, it may be for great relationships. For others, it may be for whatever, right? But when you walk this path, those doors are open to you. So let's move a little further, right? Nutrition. Nutrition is a big one. We got a lot of challenges out here. Okay. When we look at, when we're driving down the street, everything is red and yellow, right? Red and yellow, red and orange, right? What are these? Signs to restaurants. There's a number of them that we could talk about, right? But I'm not even going to name them. I would say that minimization of restaurants would be very, very wise because you don't know where they're getting that food from. You don't know what vendor they are practically forced to buy from so that they can operate this business. This is a significant thing that everybody should be thinking about. All right. There's some major vendors out here of food. I believe Cisco is one of them, right? I don't trust none of them. I don't trust not a one vendor, major industrial vendor of food in this country or outside of it. I don't trust any of them. And you shouldn't either. Do your research. No need to trust. Just look into their practices. And if there's certain practices you're trying to learn about that they may or may not do, and they won't give you the information, don't buy from them. Don't put your hard-earned money into companies who won't divulge to you their full process of how they're preparing this food that they want you to put inside of your mouth and they want you to put inside of your child's mouth. Nah, don't even buy from them. There's plenty of vendors out there who will tell you exactly how they cook the food, exactly where they got it from. Every piece of the process, they will tell you all of this and they will tell you the truth. Find those vendors if you just feel the need to eat out, right? Because all this other stuff, this ain't it. I'm just keeping 100 with y'all, all right? Vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, fruit. Focus on those. If it's in a bag, a box, please don't even buy it. If it's got a nutrition facts label and it's got like 18 different words and each word got like 17 letters, almost no vowels, you shouldn't even be buying that. If you look at the nutrition facts label and it says bioengineered food ingredient, that you should be putting that back on the shelf. Don't pick that up. I don't care how good it tastes. Doesn't matter. Leave it on the shelf. That's not for you. If you want to have whole health, you've got to live by the laws of the universe. You've got to understand our ancient ancestors and how they lived. You got to know the great covenant. Matter of fact, I'm going to read that covenant to y'all right now. Okay. That great covenant is super, super important. I got it right here, y'all. Let's see. Here it is. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth land, which the Lord thy God, Allah, hath given thee. And it says something similar in the Bible. It says something similar in many other religious texts. We all should be honoring our foremothers and forefathers. Well, they got everything they needed directly from the earth. Right? There wasn't no Chick-fil-A's and I said I wasn't gonna say no names, but there wasn't no Pizza Huts. There wasn't no cheesecake factories. There was none of that. Right. So they got what grew from the earth. And then if they decided to, eat an animal, then they'd be fishing some wild fish, or they'd be shooting a wild animal. And now this is still the least amount of toxicity in what they're eating. Well, why? Because the animal wasn't eating anything toxic. The animal was eating grass, eating leaves off the bushes, blueberries off the blueberry bush, oranges off the orange tree, apples that fell off of the apple tree that's on the ground. This is what they're eating. So they're eating, their body is going to have a lot less toxicity. I still wouldn't tell one of my clients to eat meat, even if they were getting wild meat. If this is what they choose to do, this is what they choose to do. However, I recommend fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes. Okay. Eat what grows from the ground. This is where you're going to get some of your most high density minerals. You're going to have a high density of minerals within that food versus you going and getting something like at the store, you get the special kind of bread or something. They're like, oh yeah, it's got all this stuff in there. See on the nutrition list, on the nutrient facts label, it's got all this. No, don't, leave it alone. Right, most of that bread is turning into sugar as soon as it gets processed in the body, and we already have an overflow of sugar as a problem in our society. It's creating so many different issues, certain types of brain issues. It's breaking down bones, it's clearly tearing up teeth, and so much more, right? So we gotta abstain, we gotta decrease and abstain from those things. Now, um we talked a little bit about sleep already, so I'm not going to go too much into that. Movement. One of the analogies that I love to give about whole health is it requires the same thing that a pot of really tasty gumbo requires. You're not just going to put water in the pot, put all these other ingredients in the pot, and you're just going to turn it on and let it do its thing. No, you could do that with quinoa. You don't got to stir quinoa up. Rice, you don't necessarily got to stir rice. You might stir, but you don't got to do that. However, with the gumbo, you need to stir it. Okay. Just like you need to do with the cream of wheat or the grits, you need to stir it. Okay. So exercise becomes the stirring of this primordial soup, the stirring of your soup. Okay. And then it helps everything work the way it's supposed to. Understand that your blood does not flow optimally unless you're in movement, walking, running, jumping, riding a bicycle, cooking, gardening, and the list goes on. Because it's movement at the end of the day, not necessarily exercise. Exercise is just something that we've kind of thrown into the equation because we have so many people who are dedicating so much time to working in factories and staying in the home and doing all these different things. So they needed more movement, exercise, right? The ancient ancestors didn't exercise, they just lived. And their life had a lot of movement within it on a daily basis. So they were massively healthy, lived hundreds of years as a result. All of this is what we have the capability of doing now, because what our ancient ancestors were, we are today. This is not just in a book, this is reality. Now, we got movement, we got sleep quality. Now, before I go past the 6 keys of life, I want to say this about exercise. There are many people who have been dealing with different types of issues with their body. So maybe they got, maybe their hip is a little weak, or they got issues with their knees, their ankles, one of the joints, shoulders, a number of different problems that people may be having. If you want to heal, you got to look at the healing process from the same perspective of how you would handle the healing process when the doctor says, all right, now I've done everything I could do for you. Boom. I'm sending you to physical therapy. Well, what's physical therapy going to do? Physical therapy is going to keep you moving to trick the body and the mind into consistently keeping the healing process moving forward. Well, you got to have movement for that, right? So if you want your knee to heal, you still got to put a little bit of weight on the knee. You got to trick the mind into believing that it's going to have a certain amount of weight on it. So now it's got to heal that portion of the knee that's had some problems, right? So the exercise is necessary, or the movement is necessary for multiple different reasons. Definitely for blood flow, as we already said. It's also for maintaining motor skills effectively. It's also for having the nervous system work the way it's supposed to. Movement helps us with all of this, right? So all of these 6 keys of life come together like this and puts us in a position to have massive amounts of energy. That massive amounts of energy is necessary to heal from disease, no matter which one that it is, right? And if we're in a forest environment, we got major blessings that's about to happen in that whole health journey. Okay, so let's go ahead and last thing is the for the 6 keys of life, excuse me, is speak the affirmation day and night. All right, so as any of you are moving forward in this journey and you're like, man, listen, I'm starting this now, Ferdinand. I'm starting this right now. I'm not playing. All right, cool. Do it. Read that affirmation out loud. As soon as we get off this live, as soon as we get off this healthy class, a module, healthy life module, read the affirmation. Then read it again when you're about to go to sleep. As soon as you rise in the AM, read it again. When you're about to go to bed the next night, read it again. Keep reading it. And things are going to unfold within you that you're not really going to be able to explain. Other people are going who ain't seen you for 2-3 weeks. They're going to tell you, hey, you got a little special little glow there. I don't know what it is. I just really appreciate this energy, right? And that's because with this affirmation, you speaking into existence a healed being. You're speaking into existence someone who's wealthy. You're speaking into existence someone who is relaxed. You're speaking into existence someone who can achieve anything. That's the beauty of these affirmations, right? So speak it day and night. Now, our decrease in abstain list, we talked a little bit about it. Anything considered toxic, let it go. Well, you got to look at, your shampoos. You got to look at your lotion, which you don't need. There's not a human being alive that needs lotion. Drink water, and you'll see your skin make natural lotion. Your skin will make oil that will have you looking like you are glistening, and you didn't even put on no body butter. You sitting back like, man, I ain't even got on no baby oil, but this looking baby oilish. Yes, this is what drinking water will do for you, and eating the proper foods. You'll develop the proper oils that's supposed to come through your skin. Look at my skin. I ain't even drank that much water today, but I drink a lot of water most days. So there's a certain amount of shiny that you see, right? My wife, she'd make jokes. She'd be like, yeah, your forehead shiny. And it's the natural oils of my skin because I am consistently drinking a lot of water. I'm eating a lot of vegetables. I'm making sure I get the proper sleep. I'm getting some movement, right? So all of these things combined produces whole health, and whole health looks really good. But you got to let go of the toxic stuff. You got to let go of the stuff that's in the bags and the boxes at the grocery store. You might as well not even go on those aisles. There's no need. Stay on the outer perimeter of the grocery store. Grow a garden, right? Focus on getting your food directly from the source, if possible. So if you're in the grocery store, you want vegetables that probably ain't even been chopped up. You want fruit in its whole form. Maybe you buy some water, right? So you're getting you some spring water. And then that might be all you buying. Some trail mix. That other stuff in all these bags and boxes, listen, leave that stuff in the store, okay? Stay away from the 3 white poisons: processed sugar, processed salt, and enriched wheat flour. Stay away from that. Don't even eat it. Most of the breads that are in the stores, don't buy them. Don't buy them. It's a waste of money. All you're doing is eating poison. Alcohol. I know y'all like, listen, I gotta have my yak every now and again. You probably like, listen, man, you just gonna get a little shot every now and again, some 1800. We're gonna get a little shot of some Jose, right? Minimize the alcohol. You don't have to eliminate it. Minimize it. Maybe 2 drinks a month, 2 shots a month. You pick whichever days you want to do your 2 on, or you do 1 on one day, 1 on the other day. 2 shots, 2 glasses of wine per month on average. Maybe on 1 month, you do like 4 to 10 glasses of wine because it's a special celebration. But then the next 3 months, you don't drink wine at all. This is where you create balance for yourself, right? Hold yourself to a higher standard. You deserve what comes with this work. This is internal work, and it unlocks doors within inside of you. It unlocks things that puts you in a position where in your existential reality, you can see in everything else what you have become. Well, if you have become the truth, that means you can see the truth out here. And if you see a fugazi over here, well, it stands out like a sore thumb. But if you see the real truth over there, well, it stands out like a sore thumb because you became the truth. So you can easily see all those things that you have always desired, but you weren't able to see it before. It just wasn't showing up in your reality. You didn't realize it was because you had on the wrong glasses as a result of cinnamon toast crunch, bacon, eggs, and cheese, biscuits, uh, T-bone steak, and a number of other things that we shouldn't put inside of our bodies. Minimize the juice, soda, and flavored beverages. Listen, those little things that you rip it and it's got the powder and you pour it in the water bottle. Listen, throw that stuff away. Don't put that in your water. Just drink the water. You don't need the flavor of the water. Just drink it. It doesn't need a flavor. It already has its own natural flavor. See, once you change this palate, once you change how this thing tastes, these taste buds, water will taste glorious. It will taste amazing. But you got to change that palate. That requires sacrifice. That requires getting that carnal nature under control. Shadow work. Walking by spirit, not by sight. We talked about meat already. Minimize it. Minimize it to eliminate it. I would say eliminate it. Especially if you're getting your meat out of any one of these grocery stores, eliminate it. You're eating poison. Next time you go to the grocery store, go to Food Line, go to Piggly Wiggly, go to Safeway, go to wherever, right? And then go to the meat aisle on the outer perimeter. This is what I want you to do. I want you to pick any piece of meat that you see. And I want you to pick up the package. The package is probably going to be one of them white styrofoam type packages covered with some plastic, right? So you can see inside of it. And then I want you to turn it to the side, okay? And then I want you to look at that red stuff that's floating around in there, all right? Just so for everybody's understanding, that's not blood. So what are you eating? Poison, okay? Let it go. Eliminate the poison, all right? Get some movement, right? Abstain from sitting. You know, if you got some opportunities where you could stand up, type on the computer, stand up and type on the computer, even if you didn't walk 5,000, 10,000 steps a day. It's okay. Start small. This is an elephant. We're just eating it one bite at a time. That's why we're doing a 16-week series, the beginner course. We're taking it one bite at a time, a little bit at a time. And these videos will be available on roottribes.com website. Anyone will be able to go and access these videos whenever they want. They will always be up there on the blog. I'll be putting it up there today after we complete this video. So please share that link with everyone out there. Everybody deserves whole health, all of us, okay? Now, homework. Homework. Yeah, I got some homework for y'all. I want everybody out there to choose one of the 6 keys of life. Okay, let me put them back on the screen. Choose one of the 6 keys of life and start exposing yourself more to it, elevating yourself within that 6th key, within one of those keys. You don't got to do all 6. Let's just start small. Work on one. Work on your water. Maybe work on your nutrition. Maybe you get more sunlight. Maybe there's more movement. Maybe you get better sleep. Maybe you start writing your goals. Pick one. Elevate in that, right? We're just taking one step, right? And then we're gonna take another step on our next module. Then we're gonna take another step on our next module. By the end of this 16-week class, you're going to have achieved something so special. And you are not going to even notice it most of the time. It's just going to be the new you. Now, let's get back to homework. Now, the other thing in homework is I want you to choose at least one on the decrease abstain list right above, right here. And I want you to go ahead and start minimizing that to the elimination of it, right? We're not just minimizing, we're working towards eliminating, okay? We want to eliminate those 3 white poisons completely. We want to eliminate alcohol completely, unless we have a steal and we make the alcohol ourselves. But if you're buying the alcohol out of the store, let's eliminate that. Learn how to make your own alcohol. That way you know exactly what's in that bottle. It's more than likely going to be much more healthy what you make. You're probably going to take a bunch of grapes. You're probably going to use some potatoes or something. That's a much better option than buying it out of these stores. That's in these bottles. It has to flow through agencies and everything, and they got to have all kinds of stuff inside the bottle or whatever just to pass the test. Listen, that's for the birds. We leaving that. We leaving that in the 20th century. Okay. In this 21st century, we moving forward with something new, right? Whole health is the way. Okay. If anybody told you different, don't even listen to them anymore. Whole health is the way. Purity is the way. Okay. Now we're starting with this carnal self with purity because sometimes we got to meet a individual where they are. So for us to actively achieve that in the best way possible, we start with this carnal self. We start with how we're eating. We start with what we're entertaining ourselves with, what's coming through the ears and the eyes, right? What are we sensing? We got to let go of everything toxic. Okay. So choose something on that decrease abstain list and decrease it and eventually abstain from it. So I hope everybody's. I hope y'all have had some questions. I'm gonna go and look at the comments in a little bit. I'm gonna, respond to all the questions. But I'm very thankful for everyone who has taken the time to come to Healthy Life, Module 1, that's focused on healing from all diseases. This is a 16-week whole health beginner course. Understand that we all need this knowledge. Everyone needs this knowledge. All of our leaders need this knowledge. Every single one of us is a leader and we need this knowledge, right? So I'm definitely going to leave y'all in peace. But before I do, let's go ahead and let's do this affirmation one more time. I am. I am the creator of my life. I am healed. I am thankful for my body's biological processes working in full alignment with my spirit and mind. I love the challenges of life that keep my holy trinity in consistent balance. My superconscious mind is relaxed. My subconscious mind is relaxed. My conscious mind is relaxed. My spirit is relaxed. My mind is relaxed. My body is relaxed. My brain is relaxed. My nervous system is relaxed. My endocrine system is relaxed. My circulation system is relaxed. My skeletal system is relaxed. My immune system is relaxed. The healing intelligence of my spirit, mind, and body is made manifest in every atom of my being. I activate the knowledge of the ancients. Open my Akashic record for all of the multiverse to see in a blinding ray of love and compassion. I activate my power within. I activate my awareness of the crystalline grid's infinite capacity and capabilities. I activate and accept the knowledge accessed. I experience and reflect. I manifest wisdom of the all that I am. So that concludes Module 1, Healing from All Disease. Thank y'all again for coming. Please share the video. Invite someone, right? Every Wednesday, we're going to be here on Root Tribe's Facebook page. We're going to be live and we're going to be giving away the secrets of health. See, the way forward in the future is unity. But see, we have to know thyself to achieve unity. We have to have courage for thyself. We have to love ourselves enough to be able to love others. We have to have true authenticity to move forward in peace, to move forward in love, to move forward in compassion. To appreciate you, sister. Shout out, Sister D. Adams Bay. Appreciate you coming through, taking the class. And we're going to be going in for the next 16 weeks. We're going to really dive in and have a full understanding of how this earth works for our whole health journey, to understand how this carbon-based cybernetic machine works for this whole health journey, how water plays a part, how the sun plays a part, how fasting and detoxification play a part, what part medicine is playing from your local pharmacy, what part the hospital is playing. We're going to go through all of these different pieces and we're going to walk this journey together. Listen, this is a journey up Kilimanjaro, okay? And we're going to do it hand in hand. We're going to walk right next to each other, okay? My brother. What's going on, Edwin? How you doing? Hey, listen, y'all. It's my brother Edwin right here. This guy is Mr. Portsmouth. This guy is Mr. Community. I love this guy. And love my sister D. Adams Bay. She and I, we in the same temple, and the sister be giving me some great mentorship. I really appreciate all her lessons. All right. Hey, listen, y'all be blessed. We'll be back next week, 5 p.m., and we'll be going in on I believe it's fasting, right? So I gotta check it out. Y'all be blessed and expose your gift.